Talk Bomb.
Book Club Shmook Club is brought to you by TalkBomb.com. It's a book review show where @Shillin Kristen and her brother @WillRogers2000 talk about books and whatever else they want. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you typically get your podcasts. Welcome to Book Club Shmook Club. This is Kristen.
This is William.
And hi, guys. I'm sorry we're a little late for you this week.
Yeah.
But we made it.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
What are you going to do?
I was sick last week, and then something else came up, and we couldn't record,
Yes.
but we're here.
Yes,
so
we are finally here.
Thank you for being patient.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So finally, we are going to get to talk about Carrie Fisher's The Princess Diarist.
Yes.
I have been waiting to discuss this. I listened to it on Audible, and I listened to it like twice.
Really?
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
I really, really enjoyed it. And
did you just listen to it twice because you were like, let's take her around again?
Kind of, yes and no. I listened to it the first time, and I really, really enjoyed it, and then we weren't able to record, and I wanted to make sure that I remembered everything I wanted to say.
Okay,
so I went back a second time and was
concerned.
just into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. There's not... Well, okay.
It's not long.
It's not. It's really not long,
Yeah.
and it's kind of not what I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I felt like, and maybe I'm wrong, I didn't go back to double check. I felt like all the synopses about it on Amazon and stuff set it up as Carrie Fisher in the year 2016 was going through some of her like old boxes and belongings and stuff, and found the diaries that she had kept during the time of shooting the original Star Wars movie. And that those diaries were going to contain recollections of what it was like around that time, making that movie and her interactions with like the people around the set.
Yeah.
It is.
But not much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It primarily, I would argue that this book is 60% about Harrison Ford and 40% about what it's like for her to be connected to Princess Leia the way she is.
Totally.
And really that's it. It's those two things and nothing else.
Yep.
Every recollection that she has about Star Wars is about Harrison Ford.
Well, not every, but most.
Like 90%.
She talks about her hairdresser and the audition process.
Okay.
And, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But very quickly she gets into talking about Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And it is about him.
Totally.
Do we care about spoilers, things like that? Is that even possible for a book like this?
Well, here, I wrote a summary, and I have kind of spoiler-free and then into spoilers.
Okay.
I don't even remember what I wrote here, because it was a while ago. Okay. Carrie Fisher played Princess Leia in the Star Wars movies, and this book is her looking back on her experience. What led her to her role, what led her to bed with her co-star, Harrison Ford, and what it was like to be so iconic to so many people. This is a charming book because Carrie Fisher herself was charming. Told by someone else, this is a story that could either be eye-roll inducing or so surfacey that it would seem like a blatant cash grab, taking advantage of the ever-present Star Wars fascination. But she's so fascinated, curious about her life, and so open to sharing the ins and outs of it, that even as someone who isn't that into Star Wars, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Spoiler free.
Well, actually, maybe pause it there for a second.
Okay.
Because I am curious, because obviously Carrie Fisher has been such a big part of like pop culture entertainment for a long time.
Yeah.
But especially in the last couple of years with the new Star Wars movies and everything.
Yeah.
That I've really enjoyed her, but I would not say that I have had much experience watching her stuff or really anything up until now.
Yeah.
But is there like what's your history with Carrie Fisher?
Not that much. It's pretty much what I talked about on the last episodes or whatever when we were leading up to reading this, but I was aware of her and really liked her. I read Wishful Drinking, which was her memoir a few years ago, and I really, really liked it. I thought she was super duper interesting. And then because of that, then I was more aware when there were news stories about her and things like that. So I perked up my ears more than I ever had before, because I think I just didn't think anything of her either way before.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought she was basically that. Whenever I saw stuff about her come up, I'd be like, oh, I'll click on that because I knew that I liked Carrie Fisher then. And I liked how open she was about her bipolar disorder and mental health struggles and her treatment for that. She got electroshock treatment like every 6 weeks or something like that. And it really, really helped her. And she was just like really open about it.
Yeah.
I just loved that. And she seemed really badass. She was very like middle fingery about like the male gaze and like getting older and standards for that kind of stuff. And I fucking love all that. So
yeah,
I thought she was awesome. I think I also mentioned I had followed her on Twitter and I had to unfollow her because she wrote in a really, really weird way.
Right. Yeah.
She like only tweeted in like wingdings basically. And it was like impossible to read. And I was like,
Which takes work to do. It's not easy to like constantly be switching your keyboards.
Completely. She had to go to the emoji keyboard and peck out whichever thing could kind of correspond to a letter.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I like you, Carrie Fisher, but I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then she was on this show that I really like on Amazon called Catastrophe. And Gary the dog was on the show with her, which was great. It was
was it reality? She was herself?
No, it's that show. I think, well, I definitely told you to watch it. I can't remember if you watched it. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's about a couple where the woman gets pregnant, and it was supposed to be just kind of like, not a one-night stand, but let's say a 7-night stand, because a guy goes to London for business, and they like hook up all week, and then they're just like not going to see each other again, but they had exchanged numbers, and she calls and tells him that she's pregnant. And he's like, okay, well, why don't I come back there and we'll see if we can work this out or whatever. And it's so funny. And so I love it. But it's also like kind of upsetting sometimes stuff. It's a dramedy.
Right.
But the comedy part would make me like laugh out loud by myself. I fucking love that show.
All right. I would check that out.
It's with Rob Delaney and Sharon Horgan, who is I think British or Irish, maybe Irish actress, who has done a lot of shows and stuff over there. And one of them is called Pulling. That was from like a long time ago that I got when Netflix was like DVDs and stuff. And it was like her as a single lady. It was almost like Sex and the City if Sex and the City was like real life. Only in that it was like 4 friends who were single and like dating and stuff like that. But it was like real.
Right. Like they don't like have like New York penthouses. And,
no.
Like no celebrities or whatever.
No, they were like roommates. And like she had
Right.
like a shitty fiance who she broke up with. And like it was so good. It's a great show. Catastrophe on Amazon.
Cool.
But so Carrie Fisher played Rob Delaney's mom on that show. So she wasn't in it a ton or anything. It'd be mostly like phone calls. Then she came to visit.
Yeah.
But Gary was her dog in it, which was
really
fun
funny.
because they were together all the time.
Yeah.
And I just thought she was really cool, but I didn't know, like, I wasn't like a super fan, but I liked her a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were interested in her though, both as like her personality, like herself, who she is, and some of her like acting.
I would say personality and who she is first, and then I was like, I was going to watch that show anyway, and I was like, oh, cool, Carrie Fisher's in it.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never occurred to you to like, oh, I like her, I should watch Star Wars.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never, I watched Star Wars growing up. I never really connected with it. I like it enough.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, but I'm not like one of the people that like loves Star Wars and knows everything about it. I always liked her in it. There's like this really like clever twist in the first movie where it's all about Luke Skywalker and Han Solo going to save a princess.
Yeah.
And the second that they open the door to her like jail cell, basically, she's lounging there like, you know, like a sexy, beautiful princess. But then she pretty much immediately just starts being like, took you long enough. Yeah. And like takes the gun out of their hands and starts like fucking shooting people. Yeah. And is like so sarcastic.
It did make me want to watch this.
I meant to double back to watch it and I just didn't get around to rewatching them. But she was always great in those movies, but I never thought about her ever outside of that. Yeah. Although she did a couple of cameos in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Scream 3.
Of course. So you were aware of her.
She was in your
personal zeitgeist.
Exactly. Yeah. I think she references both of those roles in this book. She does this kind of rambling thing where she's like, people know me for my performances sometimes, where I've played Princess Leia, myself, a boy hungry casting director, and a couple of nuns. Yeah. And one of the nuns is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I don't remember her character in Scream 3 being boy hungry or something like that, but maybe I misheard it. It sounded like a Scream 3 reference.
It could have been.
Well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, never thought about her. And then with the Star Wars coming back with episode 7, she just was popping up everywhere and was so funny.
Yes.
Like so unexpectedly, I didn't know her as like a funny person. I'd seen her in one episode of 30 Rock and thought it was interesting that she was in it. She played a writer.
Never follow a hippie to a second location.
Yeah. She played a writer that had come from like 60s, like, regressive, rebellious comedy shows.
Yeah.
And she was great, but I don't know. I didn't know anything about her. And then all of a sudden she's got Gary Fisher, the dog, whose tongue is like falling out of his mouth.
So
and
cute.
she's just like kind of like off kilter and saying really weird shit that is genuinely funny.
Yes.
And so instantly I knew that I liked her. And then Star Wars came out and she didn't have that big a part in it. And a bunch of people, even people that like I respect online and I value their opinions, were really pretty ruthless about her.
Oh, really? What about her?
That like, oh wow, like she doesn't look like Princess Leia anymore. Maybe they should have
really?
Yeah. Maybe they should have recast the part.
People you like said that?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Shout out to Now Playing Podcast and Red Letter Media.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, right. It was disappointing.
That blows.
Like,
of course she doesn't look like Princess Leia anymore. It's been like 30 years or something.
Yeah, Harrison
40?
Ford doesn't really look like fucking Han
Hell
Solo.
no, he doesn't.
Oh, did you see
I was
Indiana
looking
Jones
up
4?
pictures of them together. Like I just Googled like Carrie Fisher or Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he looks so different. I was like, well, yeah, it's been like 40 years.
I guess.
So what,
I mean, I guess to be fair, it's not as though they were like, but Harrison Ford, look at him. Picture of vitality.
Yeah.
But
they just didn't comment on it at all, maybe? Do you think?
Agreed. I think there was some low-hanging fruit for Carrie Fisher. Mental illness,
shouldn't even be
drug abuse, and
woman.
aging, and being a woman. Yeah, like you, of course.
It would just never occur to you to comment on a man's appearance.
Right. Yeah. So I felt like that was...
Get me started, fellas! Not this week. The Women's March got me all powered up. I feel this way anyway, but
fair enough.
I got a battery. What? Hello?
What? Hello?
William?
Is this thing on?
Anyway.
What happened to you? You got a battery?
You ladies charged me up and thank you for it. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Yeah, but so I felt bad for some of the like shit reaction. I liked her in the movie.
She probably was like, fuck you guys. I think she did tweet,
I wish there was more of her.
Yeah. I remember liking her in it. I mean,
there
that
wasn't
was like
enough to really enjoy. Like there wasn't enough of her in the movie to even like get a sense of what she was like. She was in the movie for like 3 minutes.
I think I was surprised that she was in it. I think that was my first like full start to finish Star Wars experience, was that newest one. And I liked it.
It's a good movie.
Remember? I liked it.
She is meant to be a much bigger part of the next one coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And it has been said that she would have been like a primary player for episode 9 coming out in a couple of years.
That fucking sucks.
But she obviously is not able to film it.
Yeah. And I know they're not going to do it, but I know it was on the table that they would have her in by hologram, but they decided not to.
Oh, by hologram or CGI?
Oh, I guess CGI.
Quick spoilers for Star Wars Rogue One. Do you care?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. I'm just going to...
Well, no, I don't want to spoil it for people at home either.
But you're telling them spoilers. So the thing is, they can turn their thing down. I'm just going to plug my ears for a second.
Okay. I thought you were like somehow taking off your headphones so you wouldn't be able to hear me say this. I was like, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, but I'm going to plug my ears.
I get that now.
Okay,
I get that now.
All right,
I'm not going to do it now.
Just tap me when
I'm not, Kristen.
What?
I'm not going to do it now.
Oh.
If there's no one to talk to, it's not as interesting.
Talk to the people. Just do it.
All right, fine. Spoilers for Star Wars Rogue One starting now. So skip ahead literally like 30 seconds. This isn't going to be long. At the end of that movie, there's a CGI Princess Leia, young Princess Leia, like from the era of the first movie, just like they had done Peter Cushing in the movie, who had also passed away, but like decades ago. And so there were some rumors that maybe they were going to keep her in the movies by doing that in future entries, having a CGI version of her. They're saying that they're not going to. I want to believe them, but movies never end, ever, ever, ever. If it's acceptable to have Peter Cushing in a full-length movie, why not Carrie Fisher? They're not going to do it in the year 2017. Maybe they'll do it in the year like 2030. So we'll find out. But that, I guess, is somewhat on the table.
Okay.
Spoilers are done.
Excellent.
It was all speculation anyway.
Yeah, but still, just in case.
I'm surprised. You care about spoilers for Star Wars Rogue One?
I want to see Rogue One.
Huh, okay.
I was supposed to. Well, I wasn't supposed to. There was a day that I got out of work early, and I was excited to see if Ryan wanted to go see it with me, and he was at it with Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have gone back. I liked it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think it might be too late now.
I think it is.
So anyway, yeah, I liked her, but didn't have much to connect with really. Found out that she was a big time like script doctor.
I
in
know.
Hollywood.
I didn't know that until she was in the hospital.
Yeah, which
everybody
is
was talking about how sweet she was.
Amazing.
I know.
She was obviously hilarious, so it makes sense. But yeah, I don't even know what she wrote. Do you know?
Well, she wrote Postcards from the Edge, which is an 80s movie. What else? She wrote some books. I'm not sure what, like, movies.
Oh, I thought maybe she was brought in to like punch up scripts.
She must have, and I don't know what. But she wrote the movie Postcards from the Edge.
Huh, okay. All right.
Which is like a Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine movie.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really liked her.
Yeah, me too.
My
my ears are hot now. I was like rubbing my ears back and forth.
Did it work? Could you hear me at all?
No, I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, to the point where I knew I looked so funny. I was like, I wonder if Will's taking a video of me or anything like that right now on the sneak.
You could have looked at me. Do you know how to read lips?
I looked up real quick. And no, I can't read lips at all. To the point it's like a problem. Like, like not at all.
Yeah, neither can I. Yeah.
Here, let me continue with the spoilery side.
Yeah. Jump in.
Okay. Okay. It might not be the majority, but it felt like a half to 2/3 of the book was about her affair with Harrison Ford, which is understandable because it took place while they were filming and also when she was still a teenager. And for whatever reason, things that happened during those years seem to carry weight and importance forever. Plus, it was Harrison Ford, handsome rogue and owner of one of the best and most normal names ever. I'm sorry about what I said about the name Harrison.
Well done.
I found this part really interesting and relatable, and I liked reading her actual diaries from that time. Holy shit, did she write beautifully, even when it was just to herself. It was only a 3-month relationship, but it made a real impression on her. I also appreciated how frankly she talked about money. Why the hell is it so taboo? And how she didn't get much money from the franchise because she sold all her rights to her likeness away. And that's one of the reasons she used to do signings at cons. It was majorly good money that she wasn't making from the franchise otherwise. I loved how respectful she was of her fans, even if I could have lived with fewer imagined/reconstructed fan conversations. How respectful she was of the fans' relationship to Leia, and her analysis of that relationship and why it mattered. I also loved her own relationship to Leia, and that she recognized and appreciated what a huge deal that role was, rather than being like, excuse me, I've also engaged in many other more high-end pursuits, which she totally did, so she could have. Carrie Fisher was great, and I really enjoyed listening to her telling me the story of her own personal Star Wars.
Yeah, so did I.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting, and it was interesting doing it as an audio book too.
Get the butt out of here.
So I Googled while Kristen was reading her synopsis, Carrie Fisher, script doctor.
No.
And I found a really great, what seems to be, I didn't read the full thing, obviously, a Slash Film article about the Carrie Fisher's history as a script doctor leading up to, Kristen?
Sister Act, which is one of my favorite movies.
How about that? That's like what dreams are made of.
That's crazy.
Fisher was brought on board for Fister Act. Oh, uh-oh.
That might be out there.
Fisher was brought on board for Sister Act by Whoopi Goldberg herself, reportedly to help whoopify the female-led project.
Mission accomplished, Carrie.
Accomplished. She also evidently did some scene rewrites for the Star Wars prequels, all 3 of them. And this all apparently started because she had started to write some of Leia's dialogue for the later Star Wars movies, which is really cool and actually ties into the way that she describes herself in this book as being part of Leia. Like, is she Leia or is Leia her?
Yeah.
And that now makes a little more sense knowing that she truly was injecting herself into Leia.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really, really cool. She evidently helped write Hook.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, I get script doctoring is like a weird.
So is it uncredited then, script doctoring?
I think so.
Yeah.
But she evidently, I guess it's not so much that you're gonna like do a rewrite of the script. Obviously, you're brought in for like certain scenes or for a character.
Yeah.
Like we want this character to have a little more edge to them. Carrie Fisher, can you work on that?
Right.
Just really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
So it was fun listening to the audio version of this book. I feel like some of it would have been easier to read.
I agree.
Because she writes in such a sort of like kind of floaty, occasionally stream of conscious way, where she will use, this happens like frequently. She'll like
wordplay.
Yeah, a lot of wordplay.
Yeah.
Which works better when you're reading it, not when you're hearing, yeah.
I also think some of the things that she was reading and like talking about your own experiences, I feel like she gave the inflection that it was jokey, where if you were reading it, you would have read it more seriously.
Right.
Like when her daughter, Billie Lourd, was reading her diaries from that time, it was pretty serious. And I was thinking, I had been thinking kind of anyway, I can't even think of an example, but I don't know, she'd be talking about something with her relationship with Harrison Ford, and it was something that was serious, but she'd be like, not this at all, but she'd be like, so Harrison said he never wanted to see me again. Huh? You know what I mean? And it was like, well, that was probably really upsetting, and maybe it still kind of like upsets her, so she's kind of like defense mechanism-y, kind of making it lighter rather than have to like really go into that and feel that again. So maybe that would be a better reading experience and like feel a little bit more authentic.
Well, even more than that, I would actually go so far as to say, especially now that we've made it clear that we like Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
I think that she wasn't very good at reading the book.
I think it could be that she was like too close to it. It must be really weird to like read your own autobiography.
Probably. I would hope that would mean, in the best of worlds, that would mean to me that you're going to inject the absolute correct inflection. That no one could read it as well as you could read it.
Unless you're kind of defensive about it, and then you try to make it, because that's what I kind of think. Well, not defensive, but like almost embarrassed or whatever, and then you kind of make it lighter than it maybe. In this case, I guess specifically. I think that it was stuff that was probably like, there were some things where she was talking about, and it was probably like, had more like I don't know, like solemn emotion or something, but she would make it kind of like punchy sounding the way
maybe
that she read it,
herself.
and it didn't match to me. I was like, I kind of wish I was reading this. I feel like I would understand it more.
For me, I felt like she read everything very slowly.
I
literally
sped it, and I never did. Like I sometimes speed things like 1.25. I had it like cranked.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I had it to, but she was reading really slow.
If you had it at 2 times speed,
I don't think I had that.
It sounded like she was like having a great time.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Like it didn't sound like somebody who was talking like this and just trying to like get it.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like that. It sounded like she was being like, and then if you can believe this is what happened next.
I think I had it at 1.75 or something.
Really?
I think.
Yeah, I feel like that is the appropriate way to.
And I slowed it down when it was Billie Lourd.
Yes, so did I.
Yeah.
So did I. I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Really, really strange experience listening to it, especially because this is something that I don't put much stock into, especially with comedians. And I'm gonna flat out call her a comedian. I think that she was like a comedic person. A lot of comedians talk about their death.
Yeah.
A lot of them. A lot of them. I remember it was a big thing somewhat recently that Gary Shandling had been on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee and had been talking about his death. The show ended up being called Gary Shandling is Alive. Shortly afterward, he died, and everyone acted like it was the most surprising thing.
Yeah.
On pure surface level, I understand. He's just talking about his his feelings about getting older and dying, and oh my gosh, it happened.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I almost want to, like, this is probably like an exaggeration. I want to say like 75% of comedians at some point, frequently in any conversation they're having, are going to mention something morbid. Maybe not specifically about their own death, but something that's a little bit off. Yeah. And in this book, no different.
Yeah.
She talks a lot about the way that she feels like she's going to be perceived after her death.
Yeah.
She talks about how she fully expects that they're like every website, every newspaper is going to use that classic Princess Leia headshot where she's got the buns on the side of her head. And she's like, why wouldn't they use that? Of course they would use that.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
Totally. And so you could, I don't think I heard many people talking about how eerie it is to read the book, given that she passed away at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But just to me, it was like, I liked that.
Yeah, me too.
I respect that sort of, I don't even want to call it perspectives. I think it truly, they are jokes.
Yeah. Oh, completely. I don't think. Yeah.
I like that, like, sort of lack of reverence for how important you are.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Really
Do you know that her ashes were in a thing shaped like a, what's it called?
Like a Xanax pill.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really funny.
She's so great.
Endlessly funny.
So I didn't watch Star Wars, but I did watch what the fuck? What is it called? It was just on the tip of my tongue. The Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah. What is that called? Do you remember?
I can find out.
Yeah, find out real quick because it's gonna bother me. Something with a B. So yeah, I watched that and it was really, really good.
I heard that it was good. Is it
Bright Lights? Yeah.
Bright Lights. I pictured it, having not seen even like a trailer for it or anything.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like it was going to be kind of like what is it, Grey Gardens, that you love a lot?
Yeah, but no, not really. Like they do live.
Did they live together?
There are
Carrie
parallels.
Fisher and her mom?
No, they lived next door to each other, so they lived walking distance. It wasn't like a long walk.
Okay.
Yeah, there are parallels. I didn't realize how close they were until I watched that. Like I remember when Debbie Reynolds died, people saying that they were kind of like glad because they were so close that, it would have just been devastating for her. And seeing this, I was like, holy shit.
Really?
I totally get that. Yeah, they were super duper close, but in a sweet way, like not like weird or like dysfunctional close, like Grey Gardens or anything.
Oh, I don't know anything about Grey Gardens. I know about Grey Gardens as like, it's
a madness shared by two.
It's too, they're losing it?
Yeah.
I thought that it was I'm thinking of like the corniest things to say, but I couldn't think of how else to express. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Like a dynamic duo of like women that are just like, hey, we got us, and that's like kind of all.
Oh, no. Grey Gardens are like sad. They're like both like mentally ill.
Oh.
Like, but like also kind of loving it. Mentally ill and loving it.
I'm loving it.
having a time of it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I was not aware.
Oh, we should watch that. I thought we watched that.
You've mentioned it many times, and you've shown me clips where who?
Tea for two and two for tea.
I have no idea.
The mom sings that.
I don't know. I think the clips that you show me,
maybe little Edie dances during it. I can't remember.
You ever see like a clip from a movie, and you're just like, I could watch this. I can't do this right now.
Oh, constantly.
I need to be like in the right mood.
That's actually
and willing to sit down and get engrossed in something weird.
That is one of the closest things to a New Year's resolution I have this year, is that I want to watch more things of substance that I put off usually.
Things that you have to kind of be patient for and put your phone down.
Yeah. Like, because I was like, oh God, it's too emotional. I can't handle that. I'll watch it some other time. And then I just end up watching nothing. And I love it. It still has value, but I end up watching nothing but like crap.
Hey, watch
or like true crime stuff. But like, yeah, like and specifically, and I still haven't watched it. There's a movie on Netflix with Molly Shannon and Jesse Plemons called Other People that I've heard is really, really great, but it's really emotional. I've been like, oh, can't handle that.
Right, yeah.
Like, I want to watch things where I'm like, can't handle that. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I guess. I'm still not...
I think I missed some quality things because I put it off. I'm like, oh, it's too much for me.
Yeah, I'm still not at a point where I'm like wanting to get into anything that's too emotionally involving.
Yeah.
One, I tend to make myself so fucking busy that if I'm going to sit down and watch something, I need it to be fun and distracting.
Yeah.
And two, just don't need that right now.
I know. That's part of why I still haven't done it yet, but that's something that I would like to do, is try to watch things that are like a little bit, even if it's not a tearjerker, just something that's like of quality. Like even like this. I knew that it wasn't like super upsetting, but I've been wanting to watch this even before we decided to do the show. And I'd be like, oh, I'll get to that some other time when I can like really get engrossed in it.
Right, exactly.
Like just do it.
Totally get it.
Give it a shot.
Well, like the other day, I watched the first 8 episodes of 30 Rock.
Oh, great.
It was I've probably seen that show it was probably like the 5th time I'd seen those episodes. I hadn't watched them in years though.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
It's so good.
It was I was laughing out loud and like shocked that it hasn't been in my life for a while.
It's so
amazing.
Good.
Yeah. So Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. So Carrie Fisher
just
died
super close and sweet
at the end of last year, and then like the next day, I think.
The next day.
Debbie Reynolds died. And I think her last words were, "I want to be with Carrie." Did that make you... Okay, well then I guess my question's answered.
What?
I was going to say, and maybe this sounds like a weird question to even ask, because now I feel like an alien for asking.
Do you think that's sad?
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, I do think it's sad.
I don't know if it's that sad to me.
It's sweet. It's sad and sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel bad for their family.
I feel bad.
Like,
I always feel bad for
Todd Fisher, that like his sister and mom died
100%
within 2 days of each other.
100%.
Yeah, but no, I think for Debbie Reynolds, it's not that sad.
In kind of the crazy grand scheme of things, where like all of this is going to happen anyway.
Right. Debbie Reynolds didn't seem like she was super well anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like not horrible, but she was declining. So for her, I don't think it's that sad.
What a wild story.
It's insane.
What a wild thing to happen. That one, Carrie Fisher became again super like in on TV, super famous, like major resurgence.
Yeah, totally.
In one of the top grossing films of all, I think the top grossing film of all time now is Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh wow.
Got to write one last book that is about some of her experiences.
I know.
Air some things that she was worried about airing. You know, she even references it in the book that she was thinking about publishing her actual diaries. Because she reads from them in the book, but she doesn't actually she doesn't throw pages from the diary into the book, really. Not all of them.
Right.
But how amazing is it that she got to write this one last book, get some stuff off her chest that she'd been like living with for a while, and decide, you know what? All of this stuff happened 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's say it all. And then she passes away. And then her mother, who was like, I guess, like one of her best friends, passes away the next day.
Yeah,
there's something about that, and I'm not going to say it's something as if it's some ethereal thing that I can't grasp. I think that is that's like a very remarkable, to me, somewhat positive end of your life.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, it is somewhat. I feel like she had a lot more in her, Carrie Fisher. That feels less settled than like Debbie Reynolds was old, and
I think she never would have stopped.
Yeah,
is my thing. I think that no matter what, if it were 20 years from now,
was still doing Vegas shows and shit when she was
really?
82.
Yeah, well then definitely. Like it was like in her blood then.
Completely.
If not for a
you
heart
should watch
attack.
this. It's really good. Everybody should watch Bright Lights on.
I would like to watch it.
It's
I really
really good.
I like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
I like.
And you know what's interesting? So there were things I learned about her too. I didn't know that she had a good singing voice. She did like stuff in her mom's variety shows when she was a little kid, and then she did it at Debbie Reynolds' last Vegas show. She came out and sang a song.
That's cool.
Yeah, she had a great voice. She was really good.
I like this stuff.
You'll like this movie.
I think that this stuff is kind
sad,
of. I think it's kind of sweet.
It is.
It's sweet in a morbid way, but I truly think it's sweet. I'm not being like trying to play devil's advocate. I genuinely think that these things are kind of weirdly perfect. Like David Bowie. Yeah. David Bowie is somebody who wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
I think, he got to release one last album that was sort of about his own death.
I know. That is so cool.
It's almost as like on the nose, like bam, like you lived life correctly. Like you never gave up. You were going to keep going. Yeah. I think in 20 years, if this heart attack had not occurred, she would have still been writing books and doing stuff.
Oh, I completely
And when
think
she
so.
passed away, we'd be talking about I think she still had more in her.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever would have stopped.
I think that's true. But I don't know, just literal age wise, like if it was in 20 years, you'd be like, she might have more in her. Like she certainly did at 60.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true.
So it's a little bit different.
You're right.
What was I going to say? Oh, what was interesting in Bright Lights? They filmed her, I mean, with her consent, obviously, but in the midst of like a manic episode. And that was really interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. Like she was just like, has like a nail lady over or something. And she's just watching Funny Girl and just like kind of being crazy, like not insane, but she's like talking a lot and she seemed like weird and off. And it was leading up to, if I'm remembering right, I think I am, leading up to Debbie Reynolds getting a Lifetime Achievement Award at like the SAG Awards or something.
Okay. And
Debbie Reynolds really wasn't feeling well. And they were really worried about whether she was going to be able to go. And I think that like kind of triggered Carrie Fisher. And so she's just acting weird. And she's like, I'm manic right now, if you can't tell. I'm manic, whatever. And she like she has all this glitter. Like she has like a bunch of just little glitter things. And she's like, I make my own custom blends. See, like, and she just seems different than she seemed in the rest of the movie. Like she is blending all this glitter together and putting it on her face and putting it on her assistant's face and the nail lady's face. And she's like, this is going to protect. I mean, she's joking. She doesn't really think it's but she's like, this is going to protect you. This is whatever. You can just, she's just different from the rest of the time. And it's really interesting to see.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell, like, because she is who she was who she was, and she was so open about that, like, it doesn't feel exploitative at all, because she was somebody who talked about that all the time anyway.
Right.
So it was just, she was just like letting it hang out. It wasn't like they should have stopped rolling. You know?
Even that plays into what I like. I just automatically think of as like a crazy grand finale of her life. Why now? Like, why shoot a documentary about her?
I know, isn't that
right
crazy?
Now
they were filming it for years, though. It was interesting. Like, there was even footage from a few years ago of when her dad died, and it was in like 2014 or something like that. I can't remember. And I was surprised because it was like quality, like, documentary footage. I was like, oh, I think they've been consistently like filming here and there for like a while.
For like 2 years.
She looked totally different. She was much heavier. She had short hair.
So it must have been
an ongoing project, I guess.
Maybe what triggered it is knowing that Star Wars was about to come back.
So.
Let's document what it's like for her to come back.
I think so. They don't really do that. It's really just more about their
Well, maybe
family.
that's why it started. I'm trying to figure like why. Like
I don't know.
Things don't like
maybe
totally.
Maybe that was for something else. That older footage, maybe.
Yeah.
I really don't know, because it seems like now I'm questioning it, because the bulk of it was from like recent.
It's directed by Fisher Stevens.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, it would. They do show her like kind of training. You know, I think you're right. They showed her like training up for Star Wars, like she's exercising and stuff. That footage of her with her dad must have been from something else.
Yeah, I wonder if that's.
It was too different.
Well, but maybe it was still like maybe they started it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the conception of it was like, let's film her process of becoming Leia and what this is going to do for her and to her. And then as the story was progressing and they realized like, oh, wait a minute. No, what we're shooting is a story about her and Debbie Reynolds.
And the bulk of the interesting stuff just happened to be later, but they kept in that earlier thing.
Yeah.
Kind of. Maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, who is Fisher Stevens?
He's the guy from Hacker.
Okay.
Hackers.
Yeah. Okay. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, he's actually supposed to be. Wait, did he die?
I don't think so. 53.
Okay. No. Yeah. He's supposed to be like an interesting dude. I can't remember why, but I knew that he was cool in some way.
Really?
Yeah.
He played.
I don't remember.
He played a psychologist on Friends.
Oh, hey.
He did. He was also on Lost.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Harrison Ford.
Okay, yeah. Pardon the interruption. Book Club Shmook Club has no sponsors, so instead we rely on our listeners and patrons. If you enjoy the show, please consider going to patreon.com/talkbomb to help us cover our hosting fees and book fees, and to get dozens of Patreon-exclusive shows as a thank you. Please also consider leaving us a review on iTunes or Stitcher to brighten our day and maintain our show's reputation. If you like Book Club Shmook Club, the best thing you can do for us is to share the show with a friend. If you like this podcast, there's a good chance your friends will too. No matter what, we just hope you enjoy the show, though, so let's get back into it.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
He sounds like he was a dick.
He sounds like he was such a fucking asshole.
Look, I ran into some dudes when I was 19.
Yeah.
Real Harrison Fords. So that's why I
ran into some real Harrison Fords.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
I've met that Harrison Ford. He is not a snowflake.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting the way that I think that she is so warts and all that she really would have said if she felt like he was a big pile of shit. But 40 years on, it seemed like she was more like, it was a time where like I loved him. I knew I loved him. And I knew that he was unwilling to open up emotionally, even talk to her, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think he was a bad guy. And I don't know if that's time.
I think probably a good portion of that is time.
Or is that true? Can you be an emotionally closed off guy that like he obviously is just like it was like a 70s like straight up like booty call.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was, but she like fell in love with him.
Yeah.
And he
it was a string of booty calls over like 3 months.
Yes.
You know?
Sure.
So, and more than booty, like they spent they were like together all weekend, every weekend during filming.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a lot of time.
Well, it sounds like they were basically dating.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he was married. He had 2 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like 34.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to this story and find it as romantic as she views it, but I understand why she viewed it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now,
Oh yeah, I'm remembering how much older he was. Yeah, wait a second. No, he wasn't.
She was 19, he was 15 years older. He was 34.
Okay, so when I'm talking about how I was 19, I ran
into a bunch of 34-year-olds.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Right.
No, that is weird that he was like that at 34.
Yeah.
That's not good. What the hell's the matter with him?
Yeah, it sounds like it would be
That's like early 20s behavior.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's not good.
And he wasn't like a super duper famous actor yet.
No.
He had been in American Graffiti and Star Wars.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not good.
And before that, I think that he was like working construction or something. He was like a roofer.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't
A roofer.
But I don't know. I guess I don't really know how to view it. I
don't like it.
I heard when she was doing like press tours for the book, obviously like it had come out that in the book she revealed that she and Harrison Ford had had an affair 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So prior to reading the book, I was thinking like, all right, we're going to hear a bunch of stuff about Star Wars, what it's like to be an actress.
Me too.
And there's going to be a little story about how she slept with Harrison Ford once.
That is exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Nope. More than half the book.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about her relationship
and
with him.
she called to let him know that it was going to be in there.
Yeah.
And he joked that she should lawyer up.
Yeah, which I kind of like.
Yeah, totally.
I kind of like.
Yeah.
She did, I think, make some veiled reference. She was like, I hope he was joking.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably pretty clear that he was joking.
Yeah.
Did you know?
And she said that she never really got over her feelings for him.
Yeah, there's an entire part of the book where she's like, could we get back together? Could Harrison work now? Maybe, but we're running out of time, so we better do it soon.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I thought it was genuinely cute.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was totally like she wasn't serious, but no, she wasn't serious at all.
Right.
Callista Flockhart doesn't have to worry.
Right.
But yeah, like she still has like a little spark.
Yeah, I thought
it
it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just have a hard time thinking about.
I don't know
what was going on with them.
It made me. That was another thing that made me want to see the movie because I haven't really seen it before, and I was like, I want to see their mojo on screen and stuff.
100%. Well, it is weird that I'm not going to call it. This movie's now a year and change old. Star Wars Episode 7. You saw it. It's the top grossing film of all time. So everyone saw it.
You're making sure they're spoiler. It's fine.
I'm making sure that it's justified that I'm about to say everything I'm about to say.
Right.
Don't bother skipping forward because I don't know how long this is even going to last.
Yeah.
Episode 7 takes place 30 years after the last movie that had this cast. And so at the end of Return of the Jedi, which I think was in the 80s, somewhere in the 80s, I don't know, mid to late 80s, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and Princess Leia flat out are together in that movie.
Okay.
They get together. She's saved his life. They are in love.
Is that the second one you said?
That's the third one.
The third one, okay.
So that's the end of that trilogy.
Okay.
Ostensibly, that was the end of that storyline forever.
Right.
So they had a happily ever after. We pick up in episode 7, 30 years have gone by.
Yeah.
We meet Han Solo about a half hour into the movie, and he is on his own with Chewie, just like fucking smuggling weird aliens and stuff, alone.
Yeah.
He's on his own.
He
talks about how he hasn't seen his wife in a long time. They're separated. Like, okay, so their happily ever after did not work. It's an interesting thing to do. You come to find out throughout the movie that the big villain of the film, Kylo Ren, is Ben Solo, the son of Princess Leia and Harrison Ford.
Wait, what?
And Han Solo. And he's turned to the dark side. And as a result of him turning evil and murdering people, Han Solo and Princess Leia are not together.
Yeah.
They it's just like a tragedy that just they couldn't sustain it. They just fell apart.
Like a lot, not all, but a lot of parents of children who've been killed or go missing end up splitting up.
Right.
It's a lot to take.
So it's sad to think that the happy ending that was written like 30 years ago is now being updated to be like, no, they're not happy. They're both alone. they miss their son,
Yeah.
and they miss each other.
Yeah.
They're just like irreconcilable differences, kind of like we don't work anymore. That's sad.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of understand the need for like the story to continue to evolve and things to be
Mm-hmm.
new and different. And what an interesting way to pick up on something that we all thought was like riding off into the sunset perfect.
Right. Right.
But what a weird thing now, knowing that Harrison Ford
Yeah.
and Carrie Fisher 40 years ago
Mm-hmm.
had a months-long affair.
Mhm.
She was in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, from what I can tell, they had like no interaction after
Yeah.
these movies were made.
Doesn't
Like,
sound like it.
Separate ways,
Mm-hmm.
done.
Yeah.
And, you know, she married other people. He
Mhm.
married other people. They lived their own totally separate lives that
Mhm.
hopefully were like totally fulfilling and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird thing that life did to her.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, that big thing that you are known for is back. We want you in it.
Yeah.
You were married to Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
that guy that you were in love with.
Yeah.
You got divorced, but you still love him.
Right.
That's the plot. That's like her character motivation in that movie. Is
Uh-huh.
they had a son together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like she's
Yeah,
an
it's like
adult.
a weird alternate universe.
It's right.
Yeah.
Like she's an adult. She can understand that like this is like not a parallel of our lives,
Right.
really. But what a weird thing to like have to like look into the eyes of somebody that you loved 40 years ago
Totally.
and know that you're supposed to be feeling like you love them.
I know.
Like what a strange position to be put in.
I know.
And imagining the what could have been of like we could have been married and had children.
Uh-huh.
Like, there are people that don't exist that could have.
Right.
It's strange.
It's totally strange. That must have been a real mind fuck.
Yeah.
Oy, 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 oy.
And then they kill him.
Well, as you were talking about the plot of it, I was like, well, maybe their plan was for them to get back together and be like a big, like, exciting redemption love story. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Perhaps not.
Boing.
Yeah, they really did away with. I wonder why they did that.
Kill Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
I think he
He just didn't want to be in it.
I think one of his stipulations was you got to kill me in this thing. Seriously, I think like Bill Murray was like, if we do Ghostbusters 3, you're going to kill me in it.
Yeah,
And strangely enough,
Yeah.
that is what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Harrison Ford's thing was like, I'll come back, I'll do one more,
Yeah.
you kill me.
Okay. Well, then what are you going to do?
If you watch episode 7 with that in mind,
Uh-huh.
that the whole movie is basically a victory lap for Han Solo.
Yeah.
He's like flying all over the place. You get to see him in like a forest environment, like the
Yeah.
third movie, a wintry environment, like the second movie. You get to see him like do all this shit and like fight guys and like have quippy one-liners.
Yeah.
So like it's really like it was just like the final victory tour, or like what do they do where like bands, like giant bands, where it's like Rolling Stones final concert.
Yeah.
And they're gonna play all the hits.
Yeah.
That's what episode 7 is for Han
Like a
Solo.
goodbye concert or whatever.
Yeah,
Concert.
yeah. Goodbye concert.
Talking like Gail Channing.
I'm gonna play my greatest hits.
Goodbye concert.
Yeah, but just like I don't know, what a
Yeah.
weird fucking thing.
When does the next Star Wars come out?
This year? End of this year.
Oh, wow.
They will be making them every year.
Really?
They happen every year.
One at a time?
Yeah.
Did it come out last year? Or there's 2 years in between these, but then
2015 was Star Wars Episode 7.
Okay.
2016, just a couple months ago,
Oh,
was Star Wars
okay,
Rogue One.
okay, gotcha.
At the end of this year, Episode 8.
That's what
At
I'm
the end
asking
of
about.
next
Yeah.
year, the Han Solo movie
Gotcha.
with Donald Glover playing Lando Calrissian.
Yep, very good.
And then after that, I believe it's Episode 9.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're bam, 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 making these things.
Striking while the iron is hot.
Yeah. The original plan was for Episode 8 to come out in like 4 months from now,
Oh,
which is like real weird.
Yeah.
That like it would have been like almost like 2 Star Wars movies a year.
yeah.
Crazy.
Weird. Yeah, I'm excited to see the next one because what's his name? Who's that guy? Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
They found him.
Yes, they did. They did find him. Mark
Yeah.
Hamill.
Uh-huh.
There's a very sad reference to Mark Hamill in this book, I felt.
What? Something about how they could have dated. It was very throwaway,
Yes.
though. I was almost like, did I miss something? I was like, I don't think I did.
It made me kind of feel bad.
Maybe he like hit on her one time or something.
Hey, you want to get lunch with me? I'm just like, no.
Thank you. No, I'm with that man over there. He's ignoring me and I'm into it.
No, I don't. I'm into real men. Come on, Harrison.
Harrison, I'm talking to you.
Harrison.
I'm a person.
Won't you say something?
Yeah. Fucking asshole.
I'm still here. Shut up, Mark.
I like you. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Well, I think you're real
Well,
excellent.
I'm not interested.
You're such a super lady.
Oh, God. That's what being 19 is like.
Yeah, kind of.
Some nice guy is like, I like you. I'm interested to hear what you're saying. You're like, yeah, thanks. I think we're just friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chase after this asshole who makes me feel bad.
Yeah. So she's talking about Harrison Ford and everything, and it sounds really complicated and difficult.
Yeah.
And then they switch
Yeah.
to actual poems from her diary that she wrote at the time when she was 19, read by Billie Lourd, her daughter.
Yeah.
Which I thought that even is like kind of a strange reading your mom's love poems.
I know. And they're like heavy.
They're
really good.
They're really fucking good.
I was like, good lord.
Holy shit. I want to find the one that was like Princess Leia is 2 times 30. What was that one?
Oh, I don't know how you're gonna find that.
Carrie Fisher poem Harrison Ford. Yeah, so now Billie Lourd is reading these poems that Carrie Fisher had written. And one of the lines in one of them, because there are many. There are many poems. But one of the lines is something about how like she maybe should have been with Mark. Maybe things would be different now or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if if that's an honest reference to some element of flirtation that had existed for the two of them.
Yeah.
At some point. I didn't look this up or anything. I don't know if Mark Hamill was interested in Carrie Fisher and she turned him down or anything.
I don't know.
Again, like this is sort of just like the mind fuck of the situation is like, I'm sure that Mark Hamill has had a very fulfilling life.
Yeah,
like
probably.
he is like fucking like genre royalty, especially now. He has been for.
When you started to say that, I thought you were gonna say a person's name. So you're like genre, and I was like, he's who now?
He's playing Jean Ramon in the movie The Love Bounty.
He has a new Joker thing coming out.
Yeah, I mean he's fucking like crazy famous.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's weird for him now, especially with this book having just come out and her just passing away. I have to imagine that he picked this book up.
Oh, I'm sure.
And read the poem where she's saying, as a 19-year-old, when he was probably a kid shooting this movie, maybe it should have been me and Mark. I wonder if that, even if there was...
Or maybe it was just like a hypothetical in her mind, like something was going to go down.
I could have done this or
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I completely agree. Of course it could have been like that. But it also could have been like... Now reading that like a person that maybe you had a crush on, maybe you didn't at all. Maybe Mark Hamill did not give a fuck.
Totally.
But like a weird thing to hear that it's like 40 years ago. It's like you thought about that.
Totally.
Or like, that could have happened.
Oh, absolutely.
What a weird position to be in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't want to read any of these poems.
Okay. It's going to really bring it down. That's fine. They were very good.
They're amazing. They're
really
great.
Read this book. Yeah, but they are serious, so it's going to be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm skimming a letter that, or I guess like an essay or something about that Mark Hamill wrote about her after she died. It doesn't seem like there was anything really going on. I'm skimming it, obviously, maybe a tinge of stuff, just a lot of complimentary stuff.
Okay.
But the end sentence that he said was, but my life would have been so much drabber and less interesting if she hadn't been the friend that she was.
That's nice.
That's nice. Yeah.
Did you look up how Harrison Ford responded to the book or anything?
No, he didn't have any response, really.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did you look up what he said after her passing?
No.
It was very, very, very PR polite. Like Carrie Fisher was a bright light, and we will all miss her. Something like that.
Yeah.
He did not attend her funeral. I found one report that was like, "Did Harrison Ford snub Carrie Fisher at her own funeral?" And it's like, why spin it that way?
Yeah.
Like maybe he couldn't bring himself to do it. Like, I don't think that he's that guy, so I'm not
really
inclined
don't know much
to think
about
that way.
Yeah, I don't know much about his personality or anything.
All I know about his personality is that he crashes shit a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And
she
now
kind of like joked about that.
And now I think that he actually is kind of like Indiana Jones in that first movie where he's just kind of like, you know what you were getting into. With like, remember like Karen Allen in that movie is like, I was a child, I was in love. He goes, you know what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently that's what he was like, I
Whoa,
guess.
like crazy hero Indiana Jones is whoa, dude.
Yikes, you're kind of a jerk.
Like maybe he wrote that line himself.
Maybe.
He script doctored that.
Maybe.
And this is what I would say.
He was like, I have experience in this arena.
I believe I can handle this scenario. You know what you're getting yourself into, you shit.
I mean, you don't know people's dynamics or anything behind the scenes, but on its face, I don't have a positive reaction to that. He had some sort of just bullshit throwaway thing about her death and then didn't go to her funeral.
Neither do I.
She obviously publicly expressed meaning a lot to him, or excuse me, that he meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
And it does seem kind of shitty that he would just be like, oh, she was a shining star and she'll be missed by the community. And then like didn't go to her thing.
She was incredible, very impressive.
Yeah, like that seems kind of like crappy. Right?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I read that
because I don't think he was so beside himself that he like couldn't bear to make a public statement. Probably
one of the reports that I read described him as the intensely private Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
so
I saw that too. I didn't realize that until I was looking up stuff for this.
Maybe we'll never know what's going on.
I guess we really never will. But my face value impression
between those ears,
between that earring and that other ear without an earring.
I feel like his whole head is gray. I really like his movies. This book made me really kind of like pretty down on him.
Me too. I had mostly positive feelings about Harrison Ford. I don't hate him now, but I was kind of like, I don't think I really like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, a little scummy.
But Air Force One's so good.
I almost picked up a copy the other day.
We have it at the house. We have Dad's copy.
I know you do. Yeah. I know you do. I almost picked up. This is how crazy I am. I really almost picked up an in memoriam Blu-ray that had. It was Air Force One and In the Line of Fire, which is that Clint Eastwood movie where John Malkovich tries to kill the president.
Yeah.
I think I watched that movie with Dad more than Air Force One.
Completely.
So maybe I will pick that up. Because that's like just a back-to-back Dad double feature.
Yeah,
me.
Dad Fest.
I'm gonna put that in my collection.
We should have Dad Fest where we watch a bunch of those movies. William! We're hanging out tomorrow night. Let's do Dad Fest 2017.
Oh my God.
I wanted to watch a scary movie, but shit, I kind of still do.
I still want to watch a scary movie.
All right, we'll do Dad Fest 2017 some other time.
We'll postpone Dad Fest for now. Jesus. Dad Fest. Dad Fest.
We got to pick a date for Dad Fest 2017. I'm not letting this go. We're doing it.
We're going to hold a public event. We should try to book Pino's in town.
For Dad
It's Dad Fest. What does that mean? We're watching Air Force One.
We're watching movies our dad liked.
We're watching Air Force One back to back. With what?
Oh,
what do you mean?
Something with blood in the name.
Blood Simple.
Blood Simple?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. Blood Simple. That's with Clint Eastwood and Dan Dreyfuss. What's his name? What's his name?
Number one, there's no way it's called Blood Simple.
I'm telling you. Blood Simple.
That's not what I'm thinking of.
With Clint Eastwood. Oh, no. This is the Joel and Ethan Coen movie. Blood.
It's Blood something, but it's not Blood Simple.
Clint
Just put, yeah.
Eastwood. Blood. Blood Work.
Yeah, Blood Work. Yeah.
It's Blood Work. Yeah, it's him and, what's his name?
I don't.
Oh, come on. He's Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, Jeff Daniels?
Jeff Daniels. Yeah. Not Dan Dreyfuss.
Right. Dan Dreyfuss. But yeah, Dad watched Blood Work like all the time.
So much.
It's like such a weird random movie.
Loved it. Loved it.
God.
Oh my God.
Miss you, Dad.
Wait a minute. Blood Work. The synopsis: FBI profiler Terry McCaleb. That's who he is.
That's like a name that you would make up.
Terry spends his time in the harbor on his houseboat. He was hot on the trail of the Code Killer.
Lame.
What a lame name. All right, let's watch this.
All right.
Great.
It got 4.5 stars from Roger Ebert. That's kind of a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's good. Okay.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say 4.5? It's above and beyond his rating side.
Well, I know. I was going to let it go. They're showing 4.5 because the 5 is the standard system, but then it says next to it 3.5. Yeah. I think it's just for visual, whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. It's holy shit! It was beyond perfect. Roger Ebert. I give this a 115%. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, I want to touch on the cons and stuff.
Yeah.
With Carrie Fisher.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I guess I don't have that much to say.
And done. No, she talked about how she did one thing that like is like a character trait of some of the most annoying people I've ever met. Where they're like, I call this my little breadcrumbs, and it's like their medication or something. And they're like, it's how I find my way back.
Like, did you just come up with that just now?
Yeah,
that's really good, actually.
Sounds like it would be in a Lifetime movie.
That was a really good thing to pull out of your ass.
Mommy needs her breadcrumbs, or else she won't find her way back. That would be in a Lifetime movie, without a doubt.
Oh my god!
It'd be called like "In the Arms of Madness."
Yeah,
and it would be about like a woman who's
wait, no, it doesn't work. It's a mixed metaphor. All the way home.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
mixed metaphor makes it even better. All the way home, and they talk about all
her
the
medication.
way home. Yeah, absolutely. She needs her medication,
her breadcrumbs,
and
to
then
get home.
she doesn't take it anymore. She doesn't think she needs it.
Yeah.
And then she goes missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. She runs away. Yeah.
This sounds pretty good.
And someone turns up dead.
Yeah.
Like, was it her? But was it really her? She wasn't on her medication.
Ooh, who was it, Will? That sounds good.
It was, and the kid is like,
what's her name?
She needs her Madeline. I want to say Madeline Humphrey. But I feel like Humphrey isn't right for this movie, but we'll use it for now. It's in the working.
It's a holding place.
It's in the first
Madeline
draft.
is great. I was thinking in my head, Will doesn't pull a lot of like lady names out of his ass.
I thought that too.
And
what
I was
am I
like,
going to do?
how's this going to go? Madeline's really good.
I like Madeline Humphrey, maybe for another project.
Yeah,
we'll hold on
not right for All the Way Home.
It's absolutely not, but I do like Humphrey as last name or first name. I like Humphrey. You never hear that. So the kid is like, she needs her breadcrumbs so she can find her way back.
Yeah.
And then somebody turns up dead.
Breadcrumbs.
And the kid also starts to talk about how like sometimes I'm trying to work on something here where it's like Hansel and Gretel found the witch, where he's sometimes mom is Gretel, sometimes she's the witch.
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
totally.
So he's like, the witch did it. And no one knows what he's talking about. And then he's talking about breadcrumbs and stuff. And then the lead detective,
some detective who
loves too much.
Yeah, yeah. He's like sensitive. He like talks to kids. He doesn't just ignore them. He's like he's useless. He's a kid. There's this like one detective who like squats down.
Come on, Tiger. Let's go to the break room. Yeah. I think we got some hot cocoa. The kid asks for like the chief of police is drinking like a hot mug of coffee.
Yeah.
And the kid goes like, can I have that? Or something like that. Yeah. And then the sensible cop who loves to love goes like, well, I don't know about that, but I think we got some kid coffee. Come on. Why don't you and I go to the break room and get some cocoa?
Oh, sup, Karen? Our sister Karen made kid coffee.
Kid coffee, that's right, yeah. Yeah, and then he's like, so tell me more about these breadcrumbs. So it's putting together, it's like the witch. So mommy was the witch. Mommy was the witch. Could it be?
I'm really into this movie.
All the way home. I love this. This is great. The only problem is, I'm sure this has already been written somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something we can do with this. We get sued. It already exists. Yeah.
Plagiarism. Oh my god. Yeah, so she refers to like signing autographs and stuff as giving lap dances.
Yeah. I understand. I think just referring to it that way, a couple times is fine, but not like I'll get to the point that she's like, I'll be in a store and I'll say, "Oh, I can't get this until my next lap dance." And I forget that they don't know what I'm talking about.
And then you got to explain it to them. I'm so kooky.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Gary.
You won't believe what that means.
Walk it back.
I call something else that. I've met many people who do things like that, and it drives me nuts every time. Thankfully,
it's not quite the same thing.
No,
but
I like her enough that I'm willing to go with it, but I did note it as like, this is typically something that really irritates me.
Well, what I was going to say is not quite the same thing. It isn't, but still, this is another thing that's also not quite the same thing, is that one time somebody offered me mints, and somebody else was like, minty little pills of freshness.
Just like, yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So long ago.
You're right.
It's like 8 years ago. I think about it.
Sometimes things are just so like you almost just kind of want to
Really
look at
got
the
in there.
person and just be like,
Oh, like
yeah,
yeah, you got that right.
thank you. Gotta go.
Yeah. But yeah,
I thought it was interesting that she came around on it, where she was like,
Mm-hmm.
she used to see it as like some sort of like element of like desperation.
totally.
Or like how
You're like,
pathetic are
only
you
like
that you're gonna
has-beens do that.
Yeah. And then she's like, you know what? People are really connected to these movies.
Right, which
they
is so nice.
love this.
Mhm.
They love being able to make some contact. And she has these like, she reads quotes as if of things that she probably has heard a million times, where people are just going like, oh, could you sign this for my brother Gary? He wanted to be here, but he couldn't get off work today.
Yeah.
And like, just like things that it's like too much information.
Right.
To the point that like, I really was thinking like, it sounds like you're making fun of them. Not in a horrible way, but you're just like, they're types. There are these types that approach you, and you know exactly what they say and how they talk, because you've met them so many times. Everyone says the same thing.
Yeah.
But then she was like, and then as I was thinking that, she was like, it sounds like I'm making fun of them. I love these people.
Yeah.
Like there's something that is like very like sweet and endearing about how excited they are that they have gotten to meet me. And then she doubles back and she's like, they didn't get to meet me. They put themselves in a situation where they would be in my presence.
Right.
Like it's not the same as running into somebody at the grocery store. It's going out of your way to make sure that they can talk to her.
Right.
And like a lot of like weird quotes where like at a certain point I was like, I don't know if she's talking as herself or another person at this point.
Yeah.
But like just being like, boy, what was this one? I just thought of it and it was like something that was so, like just being like, hey, you remember me, right? Gary, I met you last year at like KramerCon.
Yeah.
I was with this woman and she had a tattoo of Princess Leia on her left shoulder. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she just is like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Say no?
Totally.
It's
She
fun.
seems like she's so game too with all of it.
Yeah.
You know, they also show her at a con in Bright Lights, and she just seems like totally
She's just having a good time.
Yeah, totally down. She says it's like tiring. She like goes back. She goes like back behind the thing. She's like lying down on a cot sort of thing just for like a hot minute. Like, whew. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty fucking
overwhelming.
Especially now where like there are so many cons and so many people go to them.
Totally.
I've never gone to one.
Me neither.
I would like to go to one.
Me too. Yeah, I would too. I've gone to like, well, you've never been to any sort of convention?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gone to like hair ones a bunch of times, but never anything else. I would like to though.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, she seemed like she almost sees it like both as a public service to a degree, like, but not one that's like her being like condescending or like holier than that, like, oh, I'll let the people have this. But it seems like it's like fan service, but in the most literal sense. Like she's like, these people like really care about this and they've built up my career and this thing that I'm involved in. Like I want to give back to them kind of.
And
but then also as a job, like that's like I was saying, like I like her frankness about money stuff and not dancing around it because I don't know why we dance around it so much.
Yeah, she was like I'm a poor rich person.
Yeah.
Where she's like I barely afford the things that I'm supposed to have.
Yeah, and she's like, unfortunately, I got accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I want to maintain it. So I see how much money I'm going to need this, I'm making up, month to maintain that. And based on that, I'll do a convention or not.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes sense.
Totally.
And I mean.
And it's just like the frankness that she brings to everything.
Yeah, really only like a cynical
mm-hmm.
like ass would like shit on her for.
Yeah.
I feel like she's such an interestingly honest, open person that like, you know, I have a tendency to say too much. I definitely like respect it when I see somebody else doing the same thing and just owning it.
Yeah.
Not being self-conscious for saying something that people don't know how to respond to. Just being like, hey, no, it's true.
Yeah.
Whatever, deal with it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, me too.
And
there aren't that many people like that in the pop culture public. I'm sure there are other authors, but like celebrities, there are not many celebrities who are like that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
And it seems like she was at a really interesting, healthy place with her fame and her like connection to Princess Leia specifically.
Yeah, totally.
Not that like this book doesn't function as some sort of tale of her like being so excited to get to be in a movie, and then being, I don't know, what's the word? Not bitter, but resentful, I guess, of her fame or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And being like, I want to distance myself from Leia.
Yeah.
There's no arc like that.
No.
But it's just interesting to hear somebody who's that iconic, where you would expect them to be like, I'm not going to take another part like Princess Leia. I've got to diversify. I'm not going to be stereotyped or typecast or whatever.
Yeah.
But she was just like, no, you know what? I am Princess Leia. And Princess Leia is me.
Yeah.
And I like her.
Totally.
And I like being me.
And that's fine.
It was great.
I love her.
It was a great book.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 schmook thumbs up.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So the next book that we're going to be reading is we're going back to fiction. Welcome home.
Here we go.
William, click on the tab.
Right.
Do a little scrolly for Chrissy to read a summary.
You got it.
All right. So we are going to be reading a mystery book called Pretty Little Lies. And the reason...
Nope. Oh, you're a nerd.
Sorry.
And you love the show Pretty Little Liars.
I do. You're right.
And that is not what this book is
called.
Nope.
It is called Big Little Lies.
Dweeb.
I'm not a dude. It's a really popular show. It's like the most popular show on social media ever. That's true.
All right.
They really pioneered the use of social media and talking to fans about it. It's a whole thing, for real.
Pioneered it?
Yes. The way that Pretty Little Liars has like interacted with social media, like opened up a ton of doors and stuff like that. The way they tweeting Tweeties in particular.
So they're the reason that I watched one episode of the show Lucifer and tweeted about how weird I found it, and then the writers from the show Lucifer responded to me?
Perhaps.
Thanks, Pretty Little Liars.
No, it's more like the cast members were like live tweeting along with fans and things like that.
Okay.
And it got like a lot of people into it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a book called Big Little Lies, and it's by, I don't know how you pronounce the woman's name. I don't know if it's Leanne or it's Lianne, like Diane. I don't know, but I'm going to say Leanne Moriarty.
Okay.
And we're reading it right now because there's going to be an HBO miniseries based on this book coming out on February 18th, which will be the week after we talk about this book on the show. So I will now read the summary. Now an HBO limited series starring Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, Shailene Woodley, Alexander Skarsgård, Laura Dern, Adam Scott, and Zoe Kravitz from the director of Wild and Dallas Buyers Club, Jean-Marc Vallée, and writer David E. Kelly, who is from, what the hell is he from? Maybe Ally McBeal? Yeah, a ton of stuff. Okay. Sometimes it's the little lies that turn out to be the most lethal. A murder, a tragic accident, or just parents behaving badly? What's indisputable is that someone is dead. But who did what? Big Little Lies follows 3 women, each at a crossroads. Madeline! Or Madeline. I can't remember which one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go with Madeline just to tie it in. Yeah.
I think it is Madeline. I don't remember. Madeline is a force to be reckoned with. She's funny and biting, passionate. She remembers everything and forgives no one. Her ex-husband and his new yogi wife have moved into her beloved beachside community, and their daughter is in the same kindergarten class as Madeline's youngest. How is that possible? And to top it all off, Madeline's teenage daughter seems to be choosing Madeline's ex-husband over her. How is this possible? Celeste is the kind of beautiful woman who makes the world stop and stare. While she may seem a bit flustered at times, who wouldn't be with those rambunctious twin boys? Now that the boys are starting school, Celeste and her husband look set to become the king and queen of the school parent body. But royalty often comes at a price, and Celeste is grappling with how much more she is willing to pay. New to town, single mom Jane is so young that another mother mistakes her for the nanny. Jane is sad beyond her years and harbors secret doubts about her son. But why? While Madeline and Celeste soon take Jane under their wing, none of them realizes how the arrival of Jane and her inscrutable little boy will affect them all. Damn it.
Wow.
Big Little Lies is a brilliant take on ex-husbands and second wives, mothers and daughters, schoolyard scandal, and the dangerous little lies we tell ourselves just to survive.
Wait a minute, where's the murder? They don't even reference a murder.
They said it at the very beginning, and then they just talked about the ladies.
Yeah, I know. I expected it to be like, and then
murder.
And then there's murder. I guess there must be. All right, cool.
There is
so
murder.
I know that there's a lot of anticipation for the new series.
It looks good.
We watched some trailers. It looked pretty cool. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to read this book. So we're going to be cranking through the entire thing. And if you guys are interested in reading along with us, we welcome you to do so. This episode is going to come out on February 10th. So make sure that you check it out. But before then, if you guys have any thoughts about the Princess Diarist that you'd like to share with us, if you guys read along with us, and you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that we left out, any thoughts that you have about the book at all, I'd really be interested to hear them.
Totally, me too.
So if you're a member of our secret group on Facebook, post away.
Please.
If you're not a member yet, search for the group and join up. We always have a good time in there.
Yeah, it's great.
But you can also always talk to us on Twitter.
On Twitter and Instagram.
Right.
I use Instagram slightly more than Twitter, so I don't know why I never mention it.
Yeah.
Or maybe equal. Oh, whatever. I'm on both of those things at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at Will Rogers 2000 on all the stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, please.
Look out next week. We're going to have an off-topic show, Shmook Extracurricular. That means that the previous extracurricular show is going to be gone. So if you haven't listened to it, go do it now. It's going to go away in 1 week.
Do it now.
Yeah, but more than anything, we just hope that you enjoyed the show. So
I just noticed that Stephen King said Big Little Lies is a hell of a good book. Funny and scary.
Yeah,
it's not scary.
I'd like to see a list of all the books that he has talked about how they're scary.
Yeah, has he even read that?
It's going to scare the pants off of you.
It's not a scary book. Well, I guess in a way.
Maybe he's afraid of everything.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry. Anyway.
But thanks, guys, for listening. We hope you had a good time.
You.
And until next we meet, good talk, gang.
Meeting adjourned.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Hey guys, do you like Talk Bomb? We could really use your support. Please go to patreon.com/talkbomb where you can donate to us monthly. In doing so, you will get for yourself a bunch of bonus shows just as a thank you.
You can also find us on all social media accounts under the username TalkBomb. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Following us online is a great way for you to stay up to date on what we're working on for TalkBomb.
One of the best things you can do for our network is to review this show on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever platform you listen to us on. Positive reviews help us grow and help new listeners find us.
But more than anything, thank you for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at TalkBomb.com.